instructed to seek out the best. 2 words to describe the activity.
The Yoruba Unity Forum is conducted.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
Women in Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV Primetime
Our
News.
24-hour news station.
Today is World Development Information Day, annually celebrated by the United Nations on October 24 to draw the attention of worldwide public opinion to development problems and as well as the need to strengthen international cooperation to solve them. Okay, so we'll be opening the phone lines for you as we put up certain development challenges facing us peculiar to our dear country, Nigeria, and find out what you have to say as regards that. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Welcome to Core Digest Friday. I will kickstart with the issues that the Nation newspaper picked on this morning. It says Boko Haram, abductions, bomb kills, ceasefire hopes. And the writers here, 5 die in Motor Park explosion. No word on Chibok girls' others. Now, you recall that the ceasefire deal was said to be signed by the federal government and the terrorist sect Boko Haram. That was earlier last week, and that indeed formulated most of our discussion. But we'll be joined shortly now by our Adamawa State correspondent Martins Dixon to find out latest on what they have described as another abduction of over 60 women in that part of the country. Martins, good morning and thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, good morning.
How is Adamawa this morning, Martins? Hello, Martins, are you there? Hello? Martins Dixon, are you there? Okay, we're just going to try that again subsequently and hope that we can reach him. But there are developing stories as regards the conflict in number of the people, the women abducted in 2 villages in Adamawa yesterday. While some are saying it's 60, others are saying it's 62. Of course, even relevant government agencies are yet to come up to confirm that indeed these girls have been abducted. And if you recall the kind of situation that surrounded the Chibok girls, you might also be worried about how this is being handled. Martins Dixon, are you there? Good morning, Martins. Thank you for joining us on Core Digest. What's the update now as at this morning as regards confirmation coming from government agencies as regards the story of abduction in Adamawa yesterday?
Right now, the people are still apprehensive. What's on the minds of people is that how could this be prevented so that there shouldn't be more attacks or more abductions that happened. But the assurances that are coming from government are not strong enough to be able to keep the people calm. Most of the people around the villages in the outskirts of Madagali local government, Michika local government, the area where this is happening, are actually apprehensive. The majority of the people are running for cover, not trusting or believing that these attacks will be averted.
Can you confirm if any government agency, Kogi State government, the Nigerian military, have been able to confirm this particular abduction?
There has not been official confirmation up till now. It's just reports that have come in 2 days back from where it happened that people are relying upon eyewitnesses and the people around the area who have fled and are giving some reports. But the government have not officially confirmed that yes, there have been abduction of this number of girls. So it seems like in the government circles there's nothing, no information coming forth. And this is more reason why the people who are there are seeing that some other people are fleeing those areas to be able to get themselves to safer grounds or where they think that there will be safety apart from the normal usually see that the security agencies are offering. So it's just apprehension, it's tension, and everywhere people are actually asking questions why they are not safe.
You spoke with a public affairs analyst in Adamawa yesterday, as well as a member of the House of Reps. There seems to be a lot of speculations. How would you describe the mood this morning?
The mood this morning is still quiet and calm as we move around town. There is no much activity in town. It's the usual Friday, and people are just getting to offices and then going about their daily activities. It will interest you to know that most of the people residing in Yola, which is the state capital, majority of the local governments are hearing these things as need. The people that are most affected are those within the border local governments between Adamawa and Borno State, which is Madagali and Michika. And these are where people are actually feeling the pinch of the insurgency, and that is the place where you can get people worried and giving you true situations. When they have been calm, even though the residents within Yola have also been confronted with a lot of issues. Some of them have had people, relations and friends that have come in from Madagali and Michika area and are staying in their houses, and they have to take care of them. So these are the people who actually get stories from, because relations and friends that have run away and escaped from those areas. But generally, within the state headquarters, it's calm and people are going about their normal businesses, even though the majority of people you spoken to are expressing their worry and displeasure about the happenings or stories they hear around those areas.
It's all right. Martins Dixon, thank you very much for joining us this morning and able to keep us up to date with issues as they evolve in Adamawa.
Thank you for calling me, sir.
You're welcome, Martins. Well, you heard him. Unlike border towns between Adamawa and Borno, Yola, which happens to be the state capital, is relatively peaceful and people going about their businesses. But what happens with this story of communities still under what they call the Islamic Caliphate, even given the success that Nigerian army has experienced recently in the fight against insurgency in Nigeria? How do we justify all of these, even in the light of a ceasefire deal that even the U.S. recently, as well as Mike Omeri, the coordinator of the National Information Center, confirmed is going on? They even said that all of these troubles we're experiencing in some parts of northern Nigeria is not a breach of the ceasefire. Not much of confidence is being gotten from the side of the people who are very much not comfortable with the developments in this area. We'll sure keep you up to date with issues as they evolve. We're moving away quickly from there now to discuss another interesting issue on the news, the Constitution Amendment. Yesterday, I think a day before yesterday, we spoke about that, and we're just going to be doing more of in-depth analysis on that particular issue on the show this morning. The 1999 Constitution have been set to start with the statement, "We, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria." Not many are satisfied with the content of this constitution, and many have even said that this is integral to most of the challenges we're being faced in this part of the world. The Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution had sat and, of course, gave their report recently. You also know about what the House of Reps has to say. The next step would be to go to the Houses of Assembly in the 36 states of the Federation and see how all of these match up. We're joined now in our live studio here in Lagos by a constitutional lawyer. He's also a human rights activist, as well as president of Voters Awareness Initiative. Wale Ogwande, good morning. Thank you for finding time to join us.
Morning, and thank you. And good morning, viewers out there.
Oh, that's quite thoughtful of you. I don't know if you've seen the papers, but I have. On the front page of the Vanguard this morning, 36 governors fight autonomy for local governments. I want us to start from there because it's interesting to know that when this debate actually started, it sounds as if the Senate did not really support autonomy for local governments. Would you say that lawmakers are not politically inclined with governors before sitting on this particular issue?
I want to believe so, that they were not inclined. If not, obviously they will have just swarmed together to cut people off or deny people that basis. And I tell you, the grassroots government is the essence of development. If the local government is not in tandem with the people, if the local government is cut off from the people, obviously there won't be any development. And what we see in Nigeria is a situation where the local government are made the apron strings of the state government. And they are there. Whoever is the chairman of the local government is there at the whims and caprices of the state governor. I mean, you saw some states, they don't have any local government. In fact, in some states, the local government there is there on the appointment of and the mercy of the governor. And of course, this is an aberration of Section 1(2) of the Constitution, that all authorities, any form of government in Nigeria, must be by election under the Constitution, not by any caretaker committee. So the only way, of course, is because through the local government, they put their cronies there, and of course, they siphon their money. They make sure that the little money they give them, they cut it into 2, cut it into 3, sometimes don't give them any money. And you find out that the local government, they are just like, how do I call it, a dead company, a company that has nothing to work with. Yes, I guess that's the right description. If you've gone to a company that is short of funds or that is about to fold up, you go there, the salaries are not paid, the chairman or the MD or the operations director will just sit down, all the vehicles are there, the tires have gone down, the engine have knocked down, sometimes maybe oil of maybe 2,900 or 3,000 naira to top up the engine. They have to get an approval from the governor. It's sometimes as bad as that. And because of that, obviously, looking at it, what has stunted developmental growth in this country?
Well, does it not baffle you that chairmen of those local governments are not kicking, they are not complaining?
Why would they complain? They want to buy the fingers that feed them. How did they get there in the first instance? Were they elected? Even those of them who were elected, were they elected properly? Or they were imposed? Or it was consensus? Or it was manipulated? Or it was threat? Or it was intimidation that they got there? There was nothing. In most cases, there is no election. A chairman that is a caretaker committee, whose tenure is at the whims, at the pleasure of the governor, will kick against what?
But what about cases where they were actually elected?
Those who were elected, the same thing. Most of them were elected on the footing, on the backing, and the support of the of the governor.
Let's look at the nomenclatures that could cloud and shroud this. Some have said that there is nowhere in the world where there are 3 federating units. Some have said we're running a federalism style of government, contrary to a unitary system of government where you have the local government being independent.
Don't we have a mayoral system in America, in Austria, and other countries in which you copied this system? Is it not the same thing? These are arms of government. These are various steps, various stages in the government. In the executive, you have the federal, you have the state, and you have the local government. So, if each one of them has been given powers by the virtue of the Constitution, so be it. Section 7 is clear. It recognizes the local government. Section 4 recognizes the executive, both at the state and at the federal level. Section 6 recognizes the judiciary, both at the state and at the federal level. So what are we talking about? To me, look, I keep on telling anybody who cares to listen, we run a constitutional government here. And that by virtue of that constitution, it is the manual of government. It is not like here, if the owners of this station say they don't want Nifemi on this program again, so be it. Because it is their own, they can do it at their own whims and caprices. But that does not mean that somebody can just wake up one day in a government and say, I don't like your face, go away. That's what Obasanjo was trying to do with Atiku the other day. And the court said, no. You run a joint ticket, and particularly, you are his boss, no doubt, but not boss as far as employment, that you employ him. The principle of hiring and firing does not apply here.
Given the political nature of Nigeria as a country, the moment you give independence to local governments, it literally sounds like it's a direct access to the federal government, and then the political party that presides possibly will now directly have influence at the grassroots level. How do you see that?
No, but all of them comes from the grassroots. Jonathan, as I talk to you, is in Abuja, no doubt, but he must relate with his Otioke people. If he does not relate with his Otioke people, he is nowhere, because that's where the brass basics. You can't. You must get to you must start from the basics.
I'm not sure you're getting me. What I mean is that oftentimes now when local government elections are being conducted, you notice that oftentimes the party of the state governor seems to sweep almost all the seats. If the governments now become independent, don't you say things changing?
That's where I'm going.
The autonomy is there, and I do not have possibly any allegiance to the state governor.
That's where I'm going. That since the president comes from a local government, from a ward, obviously he will be interested in what happens in his ward. The same thing, the governor will now want to know what is happening all over the state. So to that extent, they want to have control over it. But this autonomy does not make any difference. The only thing it makes is that the governor will have to work, unlike just sitting down because they are his stoots. This time around, he has to work to ensure that his party indeed delivers the state or the various local government to his state. That's just it. So this time now, unlike being automatic, and the second leg of this is that indeed the various state electoral commissions now are no more under the control of the various state government. So that now makes it even better. You see, to me, really, all these various promotions, all the various ideas, and all the various reasons and resolutions now have made me happy. Why? Because the National Assembly have now really sat down to use their power as vested in them by virtue of Section 9 of the Constitution.
If you take the SEC away from the purview of the state government, is it not also tandem to giving too much power to the center?
No.
The decentralization that the National Conference talked about.
This thing is procedure. You can't say because by the time they want to go now and move them to the center, there will be rules and regulation, as they call it, rules of engagement. If they want to conduct election, they know how to conduct it. They know how to go about it. The various stakeholders will be involved. It's not as if Jega will just come down to Lagos or go down to Kaduna and breathe over them there. There are rules of engagement in which they will see, Oga, this is not how we'll do it. At least I've been involved in the process as president of Voters Awareness Initiative. And we look at it, okay, let's look at this. Let us put some reforms in place, and it has taken us to this level, particularly pasting election results on the immediately after election, or even issues of maybe coloring the ballot paper itself, and so on. So now they will sit down with stakeholders. Nobody knows it all. So the idea is that, yes, if they take it away from the state to the federal, that does not mean that the man will now manipulate it and breathe over them. Don't forget, the governor too will have his own person.
Okay.
There will be a committee, there will be a body that will run the election. Not that they will just go. The idea is that the control now is now taken away from the state and given to the INEC. That's all.
You know, the genuine concern of the average Nigerian in all the 774 local governments recognized by the Constitution, because there are other LCDAs in Lagos and all of that, is how to bring development to the grassroots.
That's it.
Do you see this autonomy making it happen?
Obviously. You see, is there a third leg? Let us give you the third leg. The third leg of this new issue, again, by the National Assembly, recommendation by the National Assembly, is the independent candidature thing.
Okay.
And of course, this one will help development at the grassroots, because people at the local level, at the local area, knows themselves. When there is a dead man, you wake up in the morning as you're about leaving for your place of work, you just found a dead man on the street. You will hear, and then Sabi, you are running because you don't want to be late. If you are late, you know what your guy will do for you here. You quickly rush. But there are some people whose duty will be they've taken it upon themselves. Maybe out of passion, maybe out of interest, maybe out of they are self-appointed, as sometimes they will call them. They ensure that that dead body is removed. In your area, you see people, they call themselves Community Development Association. There are some people who drive it. You have some people, what's it now, your transformer in your area is not good, they go and get it turned on by those who hold your power. Maybe if they can release the power for you or to you. Then, of course, sometimes, if there is no, I don't think, let's leave that issue of water. Water is everybody is the water owner here. But other such issues, security, yes. you see these are the people that go around. So if such people now have access and say they stand as independent candidates, you can be sure that they'll be elected. And because now they have the power of government and the machinery of government, they can do more in ensuring that the streets are tarred. Again, talking about streets being tarred, I'm sure some people will say, yes, this man is telling, that's the truth. You see that in your street, the government has neglected you. But some few people will see, they will be, if they see that a house is being renovated in the area, they'll come and meet you. Oga, please, this rubble, make we take and fill the street. While I was coming here, I saw some rubbles, and I'm sure that's what happened here too. It's the effort of somebody. So what am I trying to say? Is that there are people, the local government, this independent candidates project to me is a welcome development. If that's the only thing that we'll get from this new democratic dispensation, I salute it.
You gave an example about seeing a dead body. You know, something similar happened in this local government where we are, I believe, for local government in Ogun State.
Obafemi Awode, I want to believe.
You know, a man was knocked down along this Lagos-Ibadan expressway.
And that's Obafemi Awode.
That Opik area. And as we speak now, if you go there, you see his call there. We come on air, we came on air and said local government officials, concerned relevant agencies. There was no response. And it baffles me as an individual what our country has deteriorated into. We interviewed people who said that's not the first time that dead bodies are left to rotting and deteriorate. But let's move away quickly from there. You are a legal practitioner, a constitutional lawyer for that matter. How do you feel about this separation between the Attorney General of the Federation, the Minister of Justice, and Commissioner of Justice?
To God be the glory. I guess on this platform too, I mentioned it, I remembered, excuse me, that the Minister of Justice is a politician who works with fiction. The Attorney General is a professional who works with facts. God help any lawyer who works with fiction. God helps any lawyer. Because lawyers work with facts. So, the man who occupies this office, one person, he's wearing two caps. He's a lawyer because a non-lawyer or somebody who is not a lawyer can't be the Attorney General of this country. So, he's a lawyer who knows the rules and regulation and knows that he's on his own if he begins to work with fiction. Now wants to work as an Attorney General. And you now decide, because you are the minister, you go feed the governor or the president or the governor with fiction. You're on your own. And that's why they have never functioned very well. And that's why you see them entering Nolly. Nolly means you with discontinuing cases against people. By the time you enter a Nolly against anybody, then it means you have allowed your political inclination or coloration to affect your professional work. Because the principle is justice. And once there is no justice, obviously you are not doing it. Because the principle is equity here. So, to me, I really was one of those who campaigned, and I'm happy that indeed it has gotten to the right ears. And of course, they have seen it that indeed you cannot, there's no way it can work. Because the man's political thoughts and judgment will color his professional work. And you'll find out that he will not advise government appropriately. And I want to take it, I want to take it even down to various MDAs. Issues, organizations like the ministry, various ministries, various agencies of government and departments must all have professional and particularly legal practitioners who will give them sound legal advice. You see, like the other day now, someone came to me, they just sacked the person, and everyone knows that what we call statutory flavor is what makes the civil service quite thick and interesting. So if there is no statutory flavor in the civil service, there's nothing called civil service. It's permanent. People enjoy it. And of course, before you sack or you dismiss anybody in the civil service, there's procedures that you follow. If one step is wrong, everything comes down.
But how does this work now? For example, we saw in Ekiti State where the Attorney General and the Commissioner of Justice gave an order, and then the order was flouted. The reasons, obvious reasons, given that he was on the side of a particular political party. But how do we now divide their responsibilities between the Attorney General of the state and the Commissioner of Justice, or the Chief Judge, as he's being called?
It's easy now. We have the Office of the Solicitor General. I want to believe it's just because they want to just bring a camouflage. No, not a camouflage now. an aberration. I'll get the right word. If something like a contraption, okay. That's why they brought in the office of the minister and the attorney general. Then, if there's the office of solicitor general, who is the chief draftsman for the state per se, then you now say you have the attorney general, who is the chief legal officer of the state. Then let's leave it at that. If you want to have a commissioner for justice or a minister of justice, to me, it's just job for the boys. But let's even now say they want to create that office. Then the minister will just be the political head of that ministry, while the attorney general will be the professional head of the ministry. Then, of course, between him and the solicitor general, they will divide their functions. And, of course, it's about sitting down and say, okay, you solicitor general, you will be in charge of drafting legislation, work with the State House of Assembly or with the National Assembly. You, the attorney general, whenever there is a case against the state or the federal government, you go and represent us in court. Or it is your duty to now call lawyers and give them briefs to defend the state. Then you, Minister of Justice, oh yeah, your own is political. You will just be the administrative head. Shikenan, what's the big deal about all these things?
It's all right. You made mention of independent candidacy earlier. What chance does an individual politician has, relative to the political structures that we have now? For instance, someone just comes up and say, I am an individual and I want to contest against Mr. President with all the PDP structures, or I want to contest against the General Buhari, irrespective of the structures. Do you see that seeing the light of the day? But just before you answer that, let's take this call from Benin. Good morning, Moses.
Hello. I want to comment on this autonomy that is being proposed by the National House of Assembly at Abuja.
Okay.
So I heard that some governors kicking against it. So we, the masses and the National House of Assembly at Abuja, should help fight it so that there will be autonomy. Because with the state governor are seeing this as a means of looting what belongs to the grassroots people. Because we say we have 3 tiers of government in Nigeria, which is the federal, the state, and the local government. Why can't the state governor allow the local government to be on their own so that they will operate effectively, that will bring more. So if the state governor are kicking against it with the masses, you can use this media, this your TV show and the television show through Core TV to tell the public that you should move out a masses to fight against these governors because they know what they are doing, getting from them. Most of them do use the opportunity to impose candidates at the local government level. At the end of the day, they will be paying little amount to them. Then they will collect the remaining money and put it into their personal pocket, of which is not allowed. Such incident happens in some states that I know that are up to now there's not conducted a local government election. States like Delta State, which is not fair. I'm from Delta State, but the state government have been operating based on what's called technical competition for how many years? Not fully whether very soon we leave there, you want to conduct local government election, and he's trying to impose candidates on the citizen there, which is not fair. As far as I'm concerned, I don't like it. We should fight to put our heads together to fight these people to make sure that
it's all right.
In this country so that we can
Thank you very much for your contribution, Moses, from Just before we go to the issue of independence.
If you just quickly let me react to Moses.
Do.
He wanted to go somewhere. He didn't say. The key word is that if the governors are kicking against the autonomy, you, the people, it is your right to kick them out. Kick them out of the office. Because anybody who does not want development in your area, as I'm talking to you, I know. Even this Moses, he will tell me that his street is not tarred. He will tell me he has no water on his street. So, what are you waiting for? 2015 is around the corner. Kick them out with your vote.
Well, let me remind you that this is the first time that the two factions of NGF that we have are agreeing together on an issue.
God bless you. You see
Doesn't
now?
mean all of them are wrong, because we have almost every state governor now.
You see now, no it is their interest that is important. You, the people, does not matter in this equation. Look at them. The two of them are fighting. But now that they see that the source of their money, where they've been getting free money, is about to be cut or to be blocked, they now come together so that they will cut it, they will fight you people, they will kick, they are kicking against the people. If I crisscross Nigeria on a regular basis, I mean, it's a sorry state if you got into some local government, particularly in the southeast. Is there erosion? In the north, is this afforestation? In the west here, is it flooding? All over Nigeria. The local government has been left. The other day, I went to one street. If you want to go to before, because of the express from Lagos to Ore or something, before I used to go through Old Ondo Road. If you are coming, you go through, they call it Okwawa. I just decided, okay, this road has been abandoned. Let me go through Okwawa to Ijebu-Ode. And I started seeing villages. In fact, some of them are they are falling off. The road is not good. The whole place has been abandoned. But it's the local government. You ask the chairman, he will say there is no money to work. Then where is the money?
When
so
we
kick
now
them
bring,
out.
When we bring
kick
all the
them
money.
out with your vote. Kick them out. 2015 is coming.
Right.
Mobilize yourself. Don't agonize. The era of agonizing is over. Organize yourself and ensure that there are several parties. It's not just 2-3 parties that are on ground. Go, just look for an area, come together, get a new party, join and kick these people out. I mean, 15 years, just as I was saying, it is only a madman that will do something all of the time and expect a different result. If you continue to vote for people who don't have your interest at heart, then your problem.
You know, another major challenge is how much financial resources goes to the executive. Don't you see this similar executive structure come into place if we have an autonomous local government structure?
Don't they go for revenue allocation? This thing I told you is not a military government that will say, oh, Nifemi, you are the chairman of Etiti local government. It's all right, give him 2 million. Oh, you are the chairman of Angwa local government. Okay, you are my man, give him 10 million. It's structured.
It's all right.
It's not you don't do things by whims and caprices of your because you like somebody. No, there are things there. If he does that, one, you, the person that have been shortchanged, you go to court. That is if you know your hands are clean. That's why all of you who want to go to equity must go with clean hands.
It's all right. Let's quickly pick on this independent candidacy. What chances does a single man has against political structures in Nigeria?
Yes, I appreciate that question. Thank God the other caller wanted to, you asked. Look, it is we are the people. The issue of structure is just a cliche by the politicians. If it's about popularity, these people like you. You come out, you say you want to contest. And of course, test your popularity. You see, it's only in Nigeria that somebody who has no pedigree will come out and say he wants to run for the presidency. Okay. How can you run and fund the your campaign going around all the local governments and what's in Nigeria? Well, start from your street that people know you. It is your reputation that will take you off. Fairness, there's one young man who was called Lucky Benedion the other day. What drew him to become governor of Lagos of Edo State was not his father's money. It was his performance in Edo State Government House. There's somebody now called Rochas Okorocha or even Adams or Shomole. These people did not jump to the presidency per se. They started from somewhere.
Oh, you mean a governorship?
Yes. So they have that, yes, we can do it. So if you give Fashola, yes, we can do it if you give us the opportunity. But you that have no pedigree whatsoever, you come out head like a snail. That you want to come out and contest the presidency. No, start from your local area where you are known.
Well, if these people you mentioned had come out without the political structure, you think they could have gotten the mandate?
No, again, because these ones, I'm just giving an example. Okay. Because these ones have already been proved. They've been tested, as they normally say, and tested, and of course they know that, yes, they can deliver. I gave the example the other time about the dead people, people who care about the various community development association. In my area, there are some of us who are involved in this thing seriously to ensure that, indeed, the community. I know how much I've spent to ensure that my road is fixed, personally. And if people do that, and of course, let's assume now that I'm not the chairman of the local government, won't I do it?
That's all right. Another major highlight in the Senate committee's report on reviewing the 1999 Constitution is the registration of political parties that failed to win elections, presidential, governorship, National Assembly, and all of that. As a voters' awareness campaigner, what are your thoughts along that line?
Unfortunately, I will not subscribe to that thought. Why? Because when you look at all the issues that are on ground, you'll find out that no, the most important thing is for there be a synergy of thoughts. And if there's no synergy of thoughts, there's no way we can move forward. And that's just the issue on ground here. If there is no synergy, there can't be anything good that will come. So the best thing in this regard is for that thought to be on as it has been as it was before. Without that, there's nothing we can do.
But do you agree that there are actually some political parties that are just figureheads?
You see,
they just come up every year, collect INEC's money.
Where I'm going, so that let this be clear. You see, the Electoral Act, Section 78, gives INEC the power to deregister.
Okay.
Right. But when you look at it, Section 40 of the Constitution says that everybody and every group have the power of freedom of association. So, and the Constitution is clear in Section 1(3) that any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution will fall flat. So you cannot. Don't forget, Babangida tried to put people in various compartments in two political parties. It wasn't comfortable per se. It wasn't easy. So that's why the issue of independent candidate will come in. Then that's why issues, if INEC wants to you can't deregister, let parties die naturally. That's where I'm going in totality. If political parties have been registered, they are not able to capture or win one seat, that does not mean that they can be relevant in the next election.
Well, does it not baffle you that most of these parties also now join force with the major parties?
For
instance,
because of poverty,
we have governorship candidates
and of the stomach.
We don't have a presidential candidate, and this is the person we're supporting.
That's an insult on their members. That they don't have a presidential candidate is an insult on their members. It's not fair. To me, that's defrauding themselves. To tell the issue, the truth is that you tell the system that, look, what we want to do is that we want this man to be part of us so that he will enjoy the benefit. We too want to contribute to his campaign. When the spoils of office come, we will be taken into consideration. That's a better way. But tell us that you don't have presidential candidate is an insult. Even if it's 5 votes that the guy is able to garner, I mean, and I know that there's no political party that has nothing less than 5 members. That's something. But to tell us that you don't have presidential candidate is an insult on the voters. Right. To me, it is better you join forces. But again, fundamentally, I will call on INEC to allow political parties to be. Because you can be sure that in the next general election, 1 or 2 parties who even have no seat at all whatsoever can come up, maybe through this education and all, and they will just say, okay, we remember, I mean, for your information, PPN was a dead party. When they stressed Gbenga Daniel out of PDP, he quickly went and picked it up, and here we are, it has some seats in the National Assembly. So if Gbenga did not pick it up, will they be alive? So to me, I don't subscribe to this idea of killing political parties. Let them die naturally if they want to die. And don't forget, we call it corporate soul. Once they are registered, they have assumed the life of a person. They are corporate personalities, and you leave them to live until they die. Except you crush them, and of course, look at what happened to Hope Democratic Party. So to me, INEC should just let them be and allow the people to decide.
The Senate wants the immunity clause to be sustained. As a matter of fact, they're even asking immunity for legislators as regards what they say and they do as they discharge their legislative responsibilities.
No problem.
This is against what the House of Reps want. I believe the National Conference also wants the immunity removed.
To me, whichever way, I will just put it under the cliche of for forms of government, let fools contend. Immunity can't be there forever. If you know that you want, I mean, there's no way you can be in government forever. Immunity will, one day you'll get out of government and your sins will follow you. And that's why I like the police force. They will say, no matter how long, the long arm of the law will catch up with you. There is no end to criminality in this country. So commit your crime while in office. One day you leave. So immunity is there, immunity is not there. You come and face justice.
But whether immunity or not, the Nigerian judiciary is already known for, lengthy years of trial.
Yes.
So I don't understand why you say the long arm of the law will meet. It has obviously never met someone that I know in this part of the world.
Yeah, because it is not yet time. When God's time comes, things will begin to work normally in this country. I tell you, nobody likes the way things are working. I tell you, I know that. I've interacted with all of them, these big time senators, governors, all these big men. They too, they are not happy. They are not comfortable, because they are the only one occupying office, and you see droops of people coming to meet them. Hey, it's my child's school fees. Hey, I'm here. I'm sick. I need money to buy this thing. I want to bury my mother. I want to. All wahala on them. They are not happy. And the Yoruba man says, a rich man in the midst of a million is equally a poor man. But when you empower people, when the system makes everybody feel useful, when the system adds value to everyone, as I talk to you now, look at it, the Nigerian Governorship Forum, Governors Forum, they have joined together to fight against people because they don't want governors, the local government autonomy. What is it now? The National Assembly now, they will quickly fight, come together again. Yeah. Have you seen the National Assembly members fighting that, Nifemi, the way you are a broadcaster, I can support you. Maybe you set up your own television station in your village, or they give you bank loan, give a young school start a bank loan or graduate bank loan to set up a small business. He has idea. Do you see them? And how many people? Let's assume this is a phoning program, or let's someone phone in and say, yeah, he easily just walked into a bank because he has a deposit of 10,000 naira. The bank gave him 1 million naira to go and expand his business. Where they will say, go and bring the corpse of your grandmother before they give you a loan. Just making difficult conditions. But these things are things that can be legislated upon. That no, let us create a situation. If the man says he's from this village, all he needs is from 2-3 people from the village who can identify that indeed he's from this village, and you give him the loan, let him go on and of course a viable business. You sit down and work it. Okay, we have a business development officer from the bank and something. You create employment. You bring consultant in who will move the process. No, but everybody is just suffering. The money they will steal, by the time they come for election, they will dash everybody. They will now begin to pile up another money for another election. When will we stop this in this country?
Let's quickly touch on the processes and the procedures to see this amendment being passed into law. The governors insist that they will ensure that the houses of assembly strike out some of these views, for instance, the autonomy of the local government. What exactly is the role of these houses of assembly?
Obviously, they are going to give approval to it per se. They are going to vote on it. But again, that's the problem. So the governors are sure. They are sure because they know that indeed they have some of these national various state houses of assembly in their pockets.
This houses actually has the outright right to strike it out?
Obviously, it's because at the end of the day, they will sit down, debate it. They will have two-thirds of it all over the country. So if they are not able to muster that two-thirds all over the country, if Lagos State says yes, if Oyo State no, Ogun State says no, and some states says no, maybe 10 of them out of 36 says yes, obviously it can't fly.
After that, does the president also has a role of assenting to all
No, obviously, when the whole thing is jailed, and of course there is a done deal, you take it to the president to sign as of now. But again, if he refuses to do that, I guess after 90 days or so, then of course it becomes automatic. They now pass a resolution making that law to become, making that bill to become a law. But be that as it may, the whole thing is that, look, Nigeria, no foreign coach can come and make Nigeria a better place. You and I and the listener, all of us, we can't continue agonizing. We can't continue agonizing. 54 years, 54-year-old man, you are still struggling like this. Everywhere, day in, day out, we are still struggling. No, let us change and let's ensure that indeed we move forward, not about deception, not about propaganda. The other day I was told, the Benin Ore road is good. From Shagamu to Ore. I was happy. He wanted to go by flight. I said, no, let me enjoy myself because I like driving. Put vehicle for road, we they go. Can't they see face me and face you? In fact, the vehicle that was coming, I thought the guy was mad. What's wrong with you? Don't you know that this is an expressway? The man was facing me. I said, And when we are told that the place is okay, as I'm talking to you now, I'm sure you are running on generator. Everywhere, there is no electricity supply. They have held the power, but we are told that they are generating megawatts of great magnitude. So my problem is, why can't we sit down and tell ourselves the home truth?
Okay. What relevance do you see the national conference having after all of these?
Leave the national conference. I've told you, this one, they have nothing. There's nothing. Maybe they can just say, okay, their views, so let us use their views. Let's pass it on to the National Assembly. Look, the Constitution, we run a constitutional government. Section 9 gives the National Assembly the power to amend the Constitution if they want to amend. Not making the Constitution.
Are you saying
and of course, the members of the conference that sat down, they just went there to drink tea and collect money. That's all. Because I told you, there must be an enabling law. Jonathan can just wake up and say, yes, I want to set you up, and that's all. Working under what? What is the law? How are they? What is it?
How
can they come into it now and say this is the law made by them?
Billions of naira of tax
down the drain, money. Down the drain, my brother, down the drain.
Wale Ogunade, thank you very much for finding time to join us on Close Eyes this morning.
To God be the glory.
It's a pleasure to have you always.
To God be the glory.
We'll take a break now, and when we come back, I told you earlier, it's United Nations World Development Information Day. I'll be joined by an IT consultant as we begin to talk about how much information you have access to, the gain, the pain, how much productivity your small mobile devices actually has in store for you. Stick around and join me again.
Nigerians are expected to seek out the best. 2 words to describe the activity.
The Yoruba Unity Forum is conducted.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa. We break the news. Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV Primetime
Our
News.
24-hour news station. You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.